India is not a very old country. It's just 77 years old. Probably the age of some of our parents or maybe grandparents. We are a young country, but with many ancient cultures, many fused cultures, many influences that are there spread across our territories, bound by this common identity as Indian. Every region of India, by choice and of course by persuasion, was made to willingly and on mutually respectful terms to become part of this union of states, a union of cultures, a union bound by mutual respect, acceptability, and connection. So that irrespective of which region we talk about, irrespective of the different languages, culture, food, dressing, everything, there is something that we all agree to abide by. There is a certain commonality, there is a certain glue that holds us all together, and that is the label of being an Indian. So when we keep talking about going back to an earlier glorious times of Bharat and of other cultures, which is prior to 1947, what exactly are we talking about? Which period in history do we really want to go back to? And whose culture are we really trying to bring back? Because every region of India, we are assuming that every state of India is important and every state of India has an equal validity to exist on its own terms. So when we say that, then which culture do we really want to go back to? Which period in history do we really want to go back to? What are we trying to reclaim? And why is one region in India considered to be superior to another? If we say that a particular region or a particular language or a particular culture or any particular people are greater representation of India versus the other, then we're killing the very concept of India as we love it today, as we treasure it today. So the only real way or glue that holds every one of us, other than of course the sentiment, other than the love that we have for this land, is the Constitution. And this Constitution, the greatest of minds with the greatest amount of integrity almost spent close to about 3 years to draft it, picking the best of wisdom from across the world and the best of wisdom from all of the land's ethos, the best learnings, and put it into a very robust framework that would make sure that it sort of addresses our wide variety, our wide depth, our wide inequality in society, our gender, our compositions, every single aspect. So in the process, we got a very solid, beautiful glue that binds every one of us, and that is the Constitution. It guarantees that every single Indian, irrespective of where they come from, irrespective of when they were born, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their economic status, is bound by this one single glue of being an Indian. So when we actually walk up to another fellow Indian and say, hey, I'm an Indian and you're an Indian, it doesn't really matter from which part of India they come from or from which part of India that we come from. It's important that we both understand that we're Indians. So the thing is that each of our states in India come from very old influences, from sometimes very, very, very old cultures. There should be an immense curiosity to actually learn about these different states that we have, its different people. There should be a great amount of love that we extend and a great amount of respect that we extend as fellow Indians, as states, as people. Hey, you're an Indian, I'm an Indian, but we're different. And this is so fascinating, isn't it? That's a beautiful way to approach this idea of India. So there is really not possible to go and say that there is only one India, there's going to be one language, there is going to be one way of looking at it, there's going to be one party, there's going to be one kind of... What are we talking about? I mean, it's impossible because every 100 meters when you cross, you are entering into a different India. And all these Indias are equally beautiful, and all these Indias are equally valid. And no, not one is above the other. This deep love, when we say, hey, I'm an Indian and I love being an Indian, what do we really mean? We mean this. We mean that we are privileged people, because we are privileged like no other country in this world because of the kind of complexity that we have, the kind of multiculturalism that we enjoy, the sheer variety, the color, the art, the food, the clothing, the languages, the imagination. And talking about the word imagination, India, this multicultural idea of this common identity of India is a concept. Yes, we are geographically bound. But the fact is that since we are all so different, and we all still are bound by this beautiful glue of being Indian, this common thing that holds us is an idea of unity, an idea of mutual respect, an idea of meeting ground. This immediate thing of saying, hey, I'm an Indian, you're an Indian, that glue is an idea. It's so easy to go and say, I'm so different from you. I have nothing in common with you. You speak a different language, I speak a different language, my culture is different from yours, my heritage, legacy is different from yours, my food is different from yours. Everything about us could be so different if we have to start from that aspect. Or we have this simple, beautiful concept of saying, irrespective of all these differences, we have one thing that we have in common. We both are Indian. And we have this beautiful gift, which is the fact that we are privileged people because we get to enjoy a variety like no other people on earth. People come here for many things from outside. Over the centuries, people have come to our land for many things. They have come for our arts, they have come for our spices, they have come for our riches, they have come for our animals, they have come for our deep wisdom, they have come for all our beautiful sacred spots. And today they are coming fresh because we have the world's highest number of young people, aspirants. We have a thriving population that's still growing, where many parts of the world has actually having declining populations. We have some of our best brains working across the world, leading large organizations. We have a lot of goodwill that we actually easily, extend to each other. We don't play it as a strength. We don't realize that we're an amazing bunch of people who handle such a complex, chaotic, multicultural existence of being Indian as something perfectly normal. The beauty of India is that we are an absolutely impossible place. Conceptually, we cannot exist because it's so varied, each place being so different, influenced in so many different ways, and yet we exist. And that is the magic of India, the concept of India. If somebody comes and says it's impossible that such something with so much of diversity, with something with so much of complexity can actually be even bound by a common glue, that idea that we could be bound by a common glue, and that glue is not religious. That glue is not by force, it's something deeper. It's something far more beautiful. That glue that holds us all together is the concept of India. And that is what we all actually love. Imagine if somebody is going to give you the same breakfast across India. If you're all made to wear the same clothes, have the same bunch of festivals, have the same kind of marriages, have everything which is exactly the same, we wouldn't be India. This crazy fusion that we are is what makes us magical. The fact that we are so easily able to adapt to so much of variety. And the thing is that we're not just even stuck in the diversity. We are a dynamic, evolving country. We continuously keep our old things and all our old influences with a great amount of sacredness, but we also are a country that continuously absorbs a lot of the new. We adapt, We adapt cuisine from other countries and then we make it ours. We adapt clothing from other countries. And then we say Indo-Western, and we say Indo-Chinese, I mean, in food, or Indo-Western in clothing. So we are a country that continuously looks at saying, hey, that's beautiful to pick up from, but this is where I come from, and how do I merge both? That in essence is the concept of India, the fact that we are a fusion. We have a lot of things that's very precious about us that we've been carrying for centuries and centuries and centuries as legacy. And we are very proud of that legacy because it's a living legacy. We all, right, we can accept a divinity in anything, from a stone to a tree to an animal to a bird. I mean, for us, divinity is in everything. We worship the rivers, we worship the mountains. We have a lot of beauty that we easily embrace as part of our daily existence. And you don't really need to be a highly evolved thinker to do that. Even somebody who's an uneducated person carries this essence, this deep wisdom of all what we have carried over centuries into us. And the beauty of our religions in India is that, in spite of the fact that we are sometimes the home to so many religions, or we've embraced it very early on, centuries ago, we still are a blend. We don't have pure Hindus with no other influences. We don't have pure Christians with no other influences. We don't have pure Muslims with no other influences. We don't have pure Jains with no other influences. We are this beautiful, beautiful melting pot. And we should be celebrating this. We should be honoring this. And we should be literally gifting the world this concept of India, which we already are. But this is what a lot of people are trying to mess with. This amazing magic that we carry, this amazing miracle that we are, because it's impossible that so many things can be held together under a common glue, but we have done it. We have done it for 77 years. And the people who thought that this was possible are literally magic makers. To frame a constitution that legally gives us this promise of this magic to every Indian, with the hope that we all honor this magic of being an Indian. And if we don't understand this, if we don't really celebrate this, then we really don't even understand what it is to be an Indian. That's really sad, because we are privileged people. It's high time we understand that we are privileged people. It's high time we celebrate what being an Indian means. And it's high time we understand that we are at this critical juncture where if somebody is going to mess with our constitution, if somebody is going to mess with the laws, if somebody is going to mess with this beautiful framework that we have, then we are going to lose something extremely precious. That India that we love will not be the India that's going to be coming. It's a job of each and every one of us to become the best representation of this magic of being an Indian, of being the most inclusive, the most easy identity that we should carry. Because when somebody comes and says, tell me about India, we'll have to ask them, there are a million Indias, which one are you curious about? But you know, whichever part of India you go to, there is something that's going to link all of us. And that is the joy of being an Indian. Welcome to India. And that's what we should be saying. So I hope that every one of us really sink in this privilege that we are given. Every one of us stand by our constitution that promises this as a legal promise to every Indian out here. And I hope that every one of us in the voting age would go there and vote to keep this magic for many, many generations to come. I hope that as Indians, we literally get stronger and stronger in making this glue so robust that nobody can mess with this concept of India, and the fact that every Indian from every part of India can walk into any space with just that one common thing that they can say, I'm an Indian, are you one too?